Hey guys, welcome back. Ricky here. Alright, so today we are going to do a final assessment of my coarse, extra coarse sharpening stones. Now each of these stones have gone through at least a dozen knife sharpenings on each one of them, with knives ranging from 55 on the Rockwell scale all the way up to 66. I think I have a pretty good assessment of, or a pretty good understanding of how these stones work, so I'll do my best to explain for you guys how to choose between these stones and what to look for. So we'll start from my left to my right. So the first is the Shapton Pro 120. Now this here is a stone that definitely surprised me. Okay, it definitely was the biggest shocker in terms of performance for me in this line of stones. It is very fast cutting, and so being a 120 stone, you definitely expect these to cut really quickly. Most knives were developing a burr within the first pass, but I would go 2 passes just to make sure that all the burr from tip to bottom tip, or top tip to bottom tip, was even. And in terms of getting a clean edge, this is actually quite nice because this stone actually gave all the knives really clean edges. I was able to cut paper pretty easily with this stone. I would say in terms of where it's a medium wear stone, you actually can see abrasives actually coming off of the stone as you're sharpening it. And so what you also hear is these little popping sounds, and that's definitely just the abrasives coming off of the stone and being grind between the knife and the stone. If you lift the stone up after you're using it and you look down at your puddle of water, you know, the swath that collects beneath the stone, you definitely see plenty of white and gray abrasives. So this stone does wear as you're using it. This is a splash and go, so it requires no pre-soaking, which is actually quite nice when you are on the go and you just have to you're in a rush, you just gotta sharpen your knife really quickly. And again, this stone is not the stone that you would use very often, but definitely something that will last you quite a long time if you guys want to pick this one up. The Shapton Glass 120 was overall a very good performer. In terms of speed, it was right up there with all the other 2 stones. What surprised me a little bit about this stone was the fact that it felt much finer than a 120. When I first used the stone, I actually ground it down with a 140 side of my diamond plate. Then I actually used the 1200 side just to kind of smooth it out, just to see if that will actually change anything. Because if you go to Shapton's website, they actually have one diamond stone or one diamond plate, or lapping plate, to lap in all their grits from I think 500 or 1000 all the way to 30,000. I actually used the 1200 Atoma on this stone for I think four or 5 knives, and then actually went back to the 140 side. After a few seconds, it did feel a little bit rough, like a 120 grit, but then within a pass or 2, it felt just as smooth as it was when I did the 1200 lapping side. This stone definitely is smoother than 120. In my opinion. In terms of wear, it does wear fairly slow. You don't really feel the wear at all. You don't really see a whole lot of slur developing on this stone. What you do hear every once in a while is a pop. You hear like these little metallic pops as you're grinding on the stone. And what that is again, it's abrasives coming off of the stone and kind of just being grounded between the knife and the stone itself. But you don't hear a lot of it. It just happens every once in a while. So in terms of wear, it definitely is a very slow wearing stone. Now comparing this to the Shapton Pro 120, interestingly, the Shapton Pro is almost 3 times as thick. I would say it's at least 2.5 times as thick, minus the glass, in case the glass part you never sharpen on anyways. Let's just measure it really quickly before I go on so I don't misinform you guys. Okay, so the Shapton Glass, okay, I'm measuring about 7 millimeters. And the Shapton Pro, you're looking at 15.6. Pro is 2 times the thickness of the Shapton Glass. But I will also say that the Shapton Pro will also wear at least 2 times as fast as the Shapton Glass. So even though it's much thinner, I would say in terms of life, they probably would last very similarly in terms of how long they would last you. In terms of feel though, excellent feel, very good feedback. It's also a slash and go, so that's actually quite nice as well. It's very thin, very easy to transport, and very pleasing to look at. And imagine having a collection of these. You know, they all have this glass plate and the white ceramics here, so it's a very nice looking stone. This here is the Atoma 140. Of all these stones here, I'll just use the word stone for the sake of this conversation. This one was the only one that actually felt like after I went to a 63 Rockwell and higher, or 62 and higher, I felt like the knives were actually almost skidding or hydroplaning on the plate. These 2 stones, they can handle knives from 55 to 66, and they all feel very similar. The feedback did improve on the higher hardness knives. Both these stones actually work really well with knives in all range of hardness. On the diamond plate though, I really felt that knives on the upper end, anything over 62, just felt like they were hydroplaning and just didn't feel good. You lose feedback, you lose tactile awareness of what your knife is actually doing on the stone. So that's what I didn't love about the diamond plate. But other than that, in terms of speed, it's just as fast, if not faster, than the other two. Definitely faster than the Shapton glass, and hand in hand, and maybe 10% faster than the Shapton Pro. Diamonds are not forever though. Okay, these do wear down, and they will wear down. I can't exactly tell how many years they will last, but I think these will last you at least 5 to 6 years of good use, possibly 10. I've heard people using DMTs for as long as 10 years. And so I wouldn't be surprised if these would last at least just as long as DMTs. If you guys were to choose between these stones, I would say that they actually are, even though they are in the same grit range, I think they actually cater to very specific markets. Okay, so let's start with the Shapton Pro. The Shapton Pro is for the everyday sharpener. It's for that person that wants to sharpen knives on the go really quickly and not worry about having something that costs a lot of money and something that performs really, really well. These stones, they take down a lot of metal, okay? And if you're not careful, you will wear your metal down and you wear your blades down too quickly. So I don't recommend these to be purchased if you guys are just getting into hand sharpening. I definitely would say make sure you get a few sharpenings under your belt, at least a few months, or at least a few dozen sharpenings. That way you can really understand how to utilize this stone. Definitely the best value stone in the 3 lineup here. This stone will definitely serve you well for a long time. Now the Shapton glass is, it's kind of that stone that I really like sharpening with. Very good feeling stone, definitely the best looking, and the wear, it's just right. But the fact that it's in the 120 range, I don't feel like this is a 120 stone. That's why I think the Shapton Pro would be a better buy than the Shapton glass in this particular range. But if you have a collection of Shapton glass stones already and you want to pick up a coarse stone, then yes, it actually makes sense to buy another Shapton glass coarse stone. But if you're just getting into coarse stones and you're picking up your first coarse stone, I would say that the Shapton Pro would be a better buy than the Shapton glass. They both perform really equally well with knives heat treated from 55 to 66. The only negative is the Shapton Pro wears probably twice as fast, but it also is twice as thick. That's something that you guys will have to decide which is better for you. But in terms of raw performance though, I would say Shapton Pro. In terms of looks and aesthetics and transport ability, the Shapton glass. Now the Atoma 140 is, again, a very interesting comparison in this lineup because it is just as fast as the Shapton Pro. Actually, the Shapton Pro is actually a little faster than the Shapton glass, just so we get that out there. But the Atoma is just as fast as Shapton Pro, if not faster. In terms of who would buy this stone, or this plate here, I would say if you are going to be doing a lot of lapping and a lot of flattening of other stones, this would be the buy. If you're looking for a coarse stone to sharpen your knives with as a coarse stone, go with the Shapton Pro or the Shapton glass. This doesn't have the range of the other two stones, and also, like I said, after 62 on the Rockwell scale, it just doesn't feel as good. So overall though, I mean, it's definitely a stone that is never going to leave my collection because it's very useful for me. I can use it not just to sharpen my knives with, but also to flatten my stones with. Okay, and that's something that cannot be said for these two stones here. I have videos, sharpening videos of all these stones here, so they just look into my sharpening session in my channel, and you guys can see videos for all these stones. And again, I try to do as many sharpenings as I can to really understand these stones and to really be able to give you guys a side-by-side comparison that is objective, that's fair, and that's actually well informed, as opposed to me just using it once on one knife. So hopefully you guys appreciate that. If you guys do, give the video a thumbs up, and also leave in the comments what you guys, if you guys have any experience with these stones or plate, let me know what your thoughts are. A lot of the content from my channel comes from feedback from you guys, and I do my absolute best to make sure that I get content that you guys want to see. Okay, so thank you guys for watching again, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.